there was an incident in the hall where there was blood and a knife that was recovered, but please don't let your kids share, photos and perpetuate this thing. What the fuck? Like, what the fuck? Hello again, and welcome back to SimplyKarafying. Today, the episode is something that's a little bit touchy for me. Only because I am right there at the intersection of don't know what the fuck to do. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump right into it. This is about homeschooling. Why so many families are choosing to homeschool now. Do you notice, like, when I went to school, 20 years ago, it was just like this thing where homeschooled kids, okay, so they're like these people who never leave their house, they never get to hang out with friends, to talk to people, or, it was just like the weird, never leaves the home kid, you know what I mean? Awkward, gotta be socially, handicapped in some form or fashion. That was as a kid thinking, because here I am, I get to come to school every day. I don't like it, but like I get to see my friends, there's recess, there's like we found the good in school. You know what I mean? This was also, though, me being in school, of course, you still had cliques, bullies, bitches, assholes, like you still had all of that. You had the mean teacher that didn't really like kids and always made you wonder why the fuck you become a teacher. You had the bus drivers that you just wanted to like fucking smack the back of their heads because they're mean as shit. And then you had, the stupid kids that just are ridiculous and they're loud or they're obnoxious or whatever, Then there's the testing, like who gives a fuck? Like honestly, like whatever. But that, as a kid, you don't realize that your school gets funded and whatever, rated and all this shit based on the scores and all this crap. So anyway, I survived school. The whole thing. Graduated, all that stuff. Did I have issues? Did I have problems? Sure. Yeah. I was a very short, very little, very petite little person for the longest. And I mean, I felt a lot of that, like a lot of stuff. I have tons of stories. In fact, in my bullying episode, however many back, there's, a story of how I got my ass kicked, honestly, just as a teeny tiny little first grader, just whatever. I got jumped. Yeah, I got jumped. So, do I have, bitches that I regret? Of course. Late night parties, whatever. Just, I had a childhood and school was a big part of it. Okay. On the flip side of all the negative shit, like, I went to the school dances with friends or, whatever. We did the dress up thing. We did the proms. I was a cheerleader. I ran track. All of this stuff. Like, there were good things to it too. Difference between myself and like kids today. Like, I went to a very small school, like under 100 kids, which is hard to imagine because my daughter's graduating class as of 2 years ago had like 370 something. Fuck. Like, holy shit. Like, how do you even stuff that many people into one fucking, like, into a building? Like, and that's only one grade. Like, that's who's fucking graduating? Little it's different now. And with the likes of these, it's even more, a lot more chaotic and everything else. So COVID happened, and that's when everyone was kind of forced to stay at home, which gave a lot of people a taste of what it could be. Like, learning didn't stop. Obviously, it changed significantly for a lot of people, but we were able to get through it. Okay. I, at the time, my daughter started kindergarten online, and I thought, oh, it breaks my heart because this is when you're supposed to go in and like meet the teacher and have, the little story time and blah, like all the kindergarten shit, you know what I mean? And she didn't get that. I had to make her a station at home to make it feel as close to a fucking kindergarten classroom as I could. And, she got on a computer screen all the time. Now, there are variations of homeschooling these days, okay? You can actually get with a district, and a lot of them have a virtual side, or you can just do an online program, some that you have to get on with every, like you're still sitting at a desk for a significant amount of time, or some, where you check in once a week with a teacher, twice a week, whatever it is, and then you can do the assignments at your own pace. There's a lot of different things. And then there's just straight homeschooling, like not even, I don't know how they do that with testing and all that stuff. But I mean, there are requirements and everything else. But there's so many more varieties of kids being at home doing school than there was when I was in school. So we'll keep that in mind for coming up. My two oldest made it through, my oldest spent her last year, her senior year, doing the virtual side of things. And this was like, we moved here and she had gone to the school for 1 or 2 years. I can't remember if she did her last 2 years or just her last year, online, because the school, the area, whatever you want to say, I wasn't feeling it. I wasn't feeling it. Not even trying to be one of these people. Like, there'd already been instances, not so much with my daughter, but close enough to the fact that it's just like, no, we're good here. My daughter, my second daughter at the same time, was going to this middle school, which was also a shit show. In the time that she spent there, which was just her 8th grade year, okay? In just that year, there had been several lockdowns. There had been several fights. She'd had her own, like, racial situations on the bus. Like, too much. There was just too fucking much for one kid in one school as a parent. Like, I really tried to push it and to make it and to believe the best in others. And that's the hardest fucking thing to do, because I don't know what's happening, right? But when she comes home with a story every fucking day, or kids posting up their phones doing TikToks in the classroom, teachers sitting back because what can they do, honestly? There was a teacher who had a kid pinned up against the locker because he called him by the wrong name. Like, I remember her texting me because the school had been locked down because of someone suspicious outside or whatever the fuck. I pull it up on YouTube because it's already being shown by the fucking news. There's a helicopter over the school. There's 8 fucking cars around the school. She's texting me saying, "Mom, can you come pick me up?" No, sweetheart, I can't, because you're locked down, which means nobody in, nobody out. Tired of that. My third daughter, who is in elementary school, when she started going to her elementary school, she was 6, okay? Or 6, 7, whatever. But I remember her coming home and telling me about a drill, the practice drill that they had to do. And, we did practice drills, fire drills or tornado drills or whatever the fuck. So I'm like expecting one of those. No, my tiny little squeaky voiced girl is telling me about how they had to do a lockdown drill, because if a scary person comes, they have to get to a specific part of the room where the teacher closes the window blind and then puts something in front of, the door, but we have to get to a spot in the room where you can't see us from the window. And then we have to be very quiet. And she's like explaining this in case there's a bad person who comes in like with a gun or something, and that's what we're supposed to do. Keep in mind, like every other fucking school in the nation right now, doors are locked. There's an officer usually, there or around. It's not the same. School today, school 20 years ago, it's not the fucking same. You know what I mean? And especially if you're in a spot where it's like lopsided in any kind of way. Yeah, it's just it's just it's just different. It's just different. My kids, like, I was all excited for dances and things like that. Like, I did sports and cheerleading and everything that, you know, stuff like that. I was very talkative, outgoing, like, I was social. I was a social person. Well, my kids are kind of like opposite that. So it's like, you get to wonder, okay, would it be a bad thing if we did the virtual side of things? Like, think of the positives, okay? So the positives, I mean, you can do your whole week's work in a day, right? And then you can fuck off the rest of the week because you've already done your work. You're not stuck somewhere 7 hours a day. Like, you can, if you're hungry, you can fucking eat. If you want to lay down while you're doing an assignment or sit up or what the fuck ever. If you want to just wear your fucking pajama pants. I mean, I could see the perks. And the fact that I would never hear these stories, these fucking of fights or whatever. I had a voicemail from the high school come around one time from the superintendent or the principal or whoever the fuck it was, saying that there was an incident in the hall where there was blood and a knife that was recovered, but please don't let your kids share, you know, photos and perpetuate this thing. What the fuck? Like, what the fuck? So, yes, my older kids, they absolutely finished their stuff virtually. Do I have any regrets about that? No. They play sports outside of that. Like, they still are in contact with their friends. So much peace of mind came with that decision. I don't regret it. I do feel bad. Like, I always ask, you know, did you want to go to prom or anything else? And they told me no, which is weird because 20 years ago, it's like, oh my God, and they could give a shit less because it's just like, there are kids today who take it like really fucking seriously. Like, it's a mini wedding kind of situation. So I'm almost relieved that they're not on that side of things, but it's just crazy of how different we were in the ages in school and everything else. So here's where it gets a little rocky. My third daughter, who is now like in 5th grade, getting ready to get out of elementary. One, she's not going to this fucking middle school. That's no, absolutely not. The downside is that unlike my older two, she is the most social. She's the social fucking butterfly. She signs up for all the clubs. She signs up for all of the after school shit. She's in the program. She's up teacher's list, you know, top of everything. School actually means something to her. Her friends, like, she's had bully run-ins, and I've had to go in and talk to the principal because she's been, you know, on the victim side of things. I don't like saying that, but, you know, it's just the experience. Like, she would be the one that would want to go to prom, want to go, you know, dress shopping with dad and you know, do the whole thing like I did. And the thought of taking that away from her hurts me. And then my youngest, who is way more spirited, right? She had a speech delay for a little bit, and she's still kind of like off the wall. She has like little outbursts and things. So it's like, if she can push my buttons, like, it takes a while, but if she can push my buttons, like, imagine a stranger. Like, imagine her having like some kind of chaotic moment, and this person who has no ties to her, like, gets frustrated, and then what? I mean, I've seen so many horrific videos of like teachers, like there was an autistic girl, I think this was a daycare or something, but there was this autistic girl reaching for a toy. This girl was like 5 years old, reaching for a toy or whatever and whining a little bit. And there are 2 teachers standing back here behind this table, and then there's one across the room who takes off her fucking shoe and launches it across the room at this little girl. Hits the little girl, makes the little girl start crying, and then these 2 back here are laughing, and then the one who threw it is like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. Bitch, you took off your fucking shoe and hurled it across. What the fuck were you doing then? Like, who just does that? I mean, my daughter, when she gets home from anywhere, it's like, shoes off, pants off, I'm home now, like, comfort. But nobody does that. And this place had fucking cameras. So, like, if cameras can't bring out the decency in rando fucking bitches, like, God forbid I put my kid somewhere where there's not a fucking camera. It's scary as shit to me. I can say that. Yeah. So there was a boom, like there was a big boom in homeschooling ever since COVID. Like, whether it was for concerns about physical safety, widespread bullying, peer pressure, exposure to drugs and alcohol, whatever the fuck. And that's not even tapping into the fact that, like, test scores these days compared to 20 years ago, yikes. There are middle schoolers who can't even fucking read. What's that about? Like, I don't get it. But a lot of parents these days are basically, they've lost fucking faith and hope in a lot of teachers and shit, because it seems like they don't give a fuck. It seems like they don't give a fuck. I know that teachers make more now than what they did 20 years ago, but I feel like they were so much more involved 20 years ago as opposed to now. Now it's like you put on a good face and you keep up with your TikToks and you, really try for that test score, but like, it's so different. So, okay. I'm not even going to get started on fucking school shootings and shit like that. But, like, bullying, I know what that's about. My daughters have all experienced it in some form or fashion. So it's like, I'm really trying to root for the school, but I'm just running out of things to fucking root for. You know what I mean? Because even my social butterfly, you know, she does sports outside. And there are tons of groups and, like, there's a whole fucking community these days, you know, of other kids that are homeschooled or whatever. So it's not like there'd be this social deprivation or she's just going to turn into some weird Igor-esque, you know, creature who just can't fucking socialize or does anything outside of the house. That's bullshit. I just don't know. Like, where she's at right now is a really good school. However, and I wouldn't be worried about it, sending my youngest there, because I've had to deal with teachers and everything else. I know I've been to that school for the last 4 fucking years, you know, so there's a comfortability now. It's close, you know everybody, like, you know it would be okay. However, we're getting ready to move, in theory, and to a place where I know absolutely nothing. And so, do I stress myself trying to get to where the best schools are? And is that really because it's the best school, or is that just what the test scores say? Because I really don't give a fuck if you have the best test scores and my daughter's still going to go through all of the problematic situations. The shitty teachers, the bullying, the who the fuck knows what. Someone has a bad day and decides to go up there and pew pew. Like, I don't see a lot of the value anymore. I don't. Like, I also look at the negative shit that I did as a teen. I had my first drink at like 15 years old. And I went into a bar for the first time and had a drink at 16 years old. So I look at some of the sketchy shit from my teen years. My daughters are not like me. And in that respect, I'm fucking thankful. Because, yeah, I gave my mom shit back in the day. But, like, I don't even have to worry about that kind of stuff, right? My shit that I have to worry about is like digital garbage, which is a lot, you know, it's a lot. But even that, I was in chat rooms and shit talking to God knows who when I was 12. My kids 17, 20, my oldest, and they don't, like, my 20-year-old just is now stepping into, like, social media shit. And she's not like if you walked in and grabbed a 12-year-old's fucking phone, you know, where she's doing TikTok dances with crop tops and booty shorts and all that shit. Like, she's not even on that side of social media. So it's just like, is that because, you know, they were able to hang out to, I don't know. I don't know. I know that personalized learning, especially for kids with, like, you know, ADHD or whatever, there's a certain level of comfort being home and dealing with that because, one, they're around everything that they, you know, that it's comfortable. It's whatever. And as much as I want to, you know, I know you have to push your kids out and they have to step out of the, you know, step out of the box, out of their realm of comfortability and everything else, which I understand is true. But school, to me, these days, is a scary mother. Like, it's just, you don't know. You don't know. Like, what do you guys think? Is it, you've got, I mean, technological tools. You've got scheduling flexibility. You know how much it sucks to try to plan, not even a trip. It's just like, if something bad were to happen, like most of our families in Michigan, if something bad were to happen and we had to go up there for like 5 days or whatever, it comes down to, well, one of us, my husband or I, either have to choose to go alone because we have the big family and we have all these schedules and school and everything else, like, to not have to deal with that, like, or if we were doing, you know, if they were in some kind of sport thing or whatever that required them to travel every now and then, like, you just cut out this restrictive fucking tether and you have this freedom. You could be doing road work while you're driving, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, it's so different. Some states even offer, like, financials. I don't know how any of that works. I don't know if that's I don't know. There's, like, programs out there. There's all kinds of tools. Some schools send you the equipment. Like, I don't know. Like, I know there's homeschooling laws and there's a lot of things, but, like, what is your take on so many people choosing homeschooling over traditional school? I mean, is it safety based? Is it test scores? Is it lack of teacher involvement? Is it the bullying, you know, epidemic that's even worse because of social media and everything else? Like, why should one choose one over the other? How about that? Leave that in the comments. If you think, you know, pro school, no matter the consequences, like, they just, you know, it helps build character and blah, and imagine if your mom would have made you stay home and blah, 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 blah. But again, that argument really doesn't take effect, really, because that was 20 fucking years ago. Like, yeah, I would have been miserable because I am a social person, but, like, I would have been sitting at a table with a notebook and a stack of papers and, but anyway. So I don't know. I just needed to get that out because here we are getting ready to close out a school year, which means that another one has to start and these decisions have to be made. And it's just like something that's just ever floating right here in the forefront of my mind. So just wanted to spew the thoughts, share it, give you a bonus episode, however the fuck you want to take it. So anyway, thank you so much for listening. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, all the same shit. And I guess we will see you next time. Thank you so much. It's so scary. Okay, yeah. Have a good one.